Part 4.43 The Women in Nisa. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. The foundations of a righteous community. We begin a profound and comprehensive exploration of a new section within Surah An-Nisa, the women, set of verses that lay the moral and ethical foundations of a righteous community. After the previous verses meticulously detailed the profound consequences of deceit, injustice, and backbiting, this new section shifts our focus to the principles that build and sustain a spiritually healthy society. These verses emphasize the immense spiritual reward of secret charity, the sanctity of an individual's faith, and the true meaning of a life of devotion to Allah. Together, these teachings reveal that the path to spiritual elevation is not through outward showmanship or public piety, but through sincere, selfless acts performed solely for the sake of Allah. This is a crucial teaching for our modern world, where so much of life is lived for public acclaim. The verses stand as a profound and eternal blueprint for building a society founded on sincerity, kindness, and justice. They teach us that the true essence of faith lies in the hidden deeds of the heart, the silent acts of charity, and the humble submission of the soul to its Creator. There is no good in most of their secret counsels, except for him who commands to give charity, or do a good thing, or to make peace between people. And whoever does that, seeking the pleasure of Allah, we shall soon grant him a great reward. Quran, the Women, 4-114. Whatever opposes the messenger after the guidance has become clear to him, follows a path other than that of the believers, we shall turn him over to the path he has chosen, and will cast him into hell. And what a wretched place to return. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-115. Indeed, Allah does not forgive that partners be set up with him, but he forgives whatever is less than that to whomever he wills. And whoever associates partners with Allah has surely gone far astray. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-116. They do not worship but females besides him, and they do not worship but a rebellious devil. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-117. Upon him whom Allah has cursed, and he said, I will surely take an appointed portion of your servants. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-118. And I shall surely lead them astray, and I shall surely arouse false desires in them, and I shall surely command them, so they shall cut the ears of cattle. And I shall surely command them, so they shall change the creation of Allah, and whoever takes the devil as a friend instead of Allah has certainly suffered a clear loss. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-119. He promises them and arouses false desires in them, and the devil promises them nothing but delusion. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-120. It is they whose home is hell, and they shall not find any escape from it. Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-121. And those who believe and do good deeds, we shall surely admit them into gardens beneath which rivers flow. They will abide in them forever. The promise of Allah is a truth. And who is more truthful in speech than Allah? Kanzul Iman, Quran, the Women, 4-122. The matter is neither according to your desires, nor the desires of the people of the book. Whoever does a bad deed shall be recompensed for it. And he will not find for himself, other than Allah, any protector or helper. Quran, the Women, 4-123. This block of verses provides a powerful and multifaceted exploration of the core tenets of belief and the grave consequences of straying from the straight path. The divine wisdom of their arrangement is clear. The verses begin by celebrating the immense spiritual value of acts of secret charity, peacemaking, and goodness, emphasizing that these deeds, when done for the pleasure of Allah alone, earn a great reward for 2-114. This verse sets the stage by affirming the supreme value of sincere intention and selfless action. It is a direct rebuke to those who would seek worldly fame or power through their deeds. The subsequent verses then present a powerful contrast, detailing the fate of those who reject the guidance of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and follow a path of falsehood. 4-115. This transition is crucial. It teaches that while good deeds are rewarded, they are worthless without the foundation of true faith and obedience. The verses then escalate the spiritual warnings by addressing the ultimate, unforgivable sin, setting up partners with Allah for 2-116. This verse serves as a final and clear boundary, a reminder that while all other sins may be forgiven, polytheism is the one transgression that severs the bond between the human soul and its creator. The following verses for 117-121 then vividly describe the source of this straying: the rebellion and deception of Satan. The Quran here personifies the evil that leads people to idolatry and other sins, detailing Satan's vows to mislead humanity. These verses are a powerful psychological and spiritual teaching, revealing how Satan uses false hopes and delusions to corrupt the human heart, ultimately leading to a clear loss and a terrible abode in hell. The narrative then shifts back to a message of hope and divine justice, promising a glorious reward for the believers who do good deeds. 4-122, a promise that is absolute truth. The final verse 4-123 serves as a powerful conclusion to the entire section, reminding all people, Muslims, Christians, and Jews, that salvation is not based on wishful thinking or desires, but on sincere actions and a commitment to justice. This entire section masterfully weaves together themes of justice, faith, charity, and the ultimate accountability of the soul, providing a rich and comprehensive guide to the spiritual life. Sufi perspective. From a Sufi perspective, this block of verses is a profound manual on the inner struggle. The verse on secret charity 4-114 is a core principle of the Sufi path. A true Sufi seeks to dissolve the ego, and performing acts of goodness in secret is the most effective way to accomplish this. The Sufi understands that public acts of piety can feed the ego and lead to Riya, showing off, which is a subtle form of spiritual polytheism. The true seeker performs acts for Allah alone, seeing every good deed as a means of drawing closer to the divine. The verses on Satan's deceptions for 117-121 are a direct teaching on the nature of the ego and its whispers. The Sufi understands that the rebellious devil mentioned is a symbol of the nafs al-amara, the commanding soul that tempts one to evil. The Sufi path is a constant battle against this internal enemy, seeking to cleanse the heart from its delusions and false desires. The verse that promises gardens 4-122 is not just a promise of a future reward, but a description of a spiritual state that the Sufi seeks to attain in this life. The garden is a metaphor for the heart of the believer, purified and filled with the rivers of divine knowledge and love. The Sufi seeks to live in a state of constant remembrance of Allah, transforming the worldly life into a paradise of divine presence. Finally, the concluding verse 4-123 is a direct teaching on the Sufi concept of fana, annihilation of the self. It is a powerful reminder that spiritual elevation is not a matter of a person's wishes, but of their complete surrender to Allah's will. The Sufi path is one of complete submission, where one abandons all personal desires and seeks only the pleasure of the divine. The Ziya-o-Quran interpretation. The scholarly commentary in Ziya-o-Quran by Pir Muhammad Karam Shah al-Azhari sheds significant light on this block of verses, providing a masterful synthesis of legal and ethical interpretations. He highlights the profound importance of verse 4-114 by explaining that it is a direct endorsement of secret good deeds over those performed for public praise. He argues that this verse is a foundational principle of Islamic ethics, establishing that the ultimate value of any action is its sincerity and its intention to please Allah alone. Pir Muhammad Karam Shah al-Azhari also meticulously analyzes verse 4-115, stressing that it is a clear warning against rejecting the universal truths brought by the Prophet, peace be upon him, and following a path of falsehood. He connects this to the concept of ijma, consensus, arguing that straying from the clear path of the believers is a sure sign of spiritual deviation. His commentary on verse 4-116 is particularly powerful, where he explains that the unforgivable nature of polytheism is a direct and logical consequence of rejecting the one true God, a sin that nullifies all other deeds. He uses this verse to emphasize the profound necessity of tawhid. The oneness of Allah is the very foundation of faith. Pir Muhammad Karam Shah al-Azhari delves into the verses about Satan's deception for 117-121. With great insight, interpreting them not as mere poetic descriptions, but as a precise psychological and spiritual analysis of the devil's tactics. He argues that the changing of creation of Allah refers to not only physical acts, but also to the alteration of the laws of nature and the very purpose for which humans were created. He concludes his analysis of this section by emphasizing the powerful message of hope and divine promise in verse 4 to 122, and the final, unequivocal statement of divine justice in verse 4 to 123, which he calls a rule of justice for all humanity, a clear refutation of any notion of spiritual privilege based on lineage or community. Hadith: the Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, the deeds are judged by the intentions. Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith number 1. This foundational hadith perfectly encapsulates the essence of verse 4 to 114. It provides a simple yet profound teaching that places the sincerity of a person's intention at the very pinnacle of Islamic law and morality. It is a powerful reminder that, while worldly appearances can be deceiving, the true spiritual value of a person's action lies in the unseen intentions of their heart. Another relevant hadith highlights the spiritual harm of those who reject the Prophet's, peace be upon him, teachings. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught, whoever introduces into this affair of ours anything that is not from it will be rejected. Sahih al-Bukhari, Hadith number 2697. This hadith, in conjunction with verse 4 to 115, provides a clear warning against religious innovation and the grave consequences of following a path other than the one shown by the Messenger, peace be upon him. It teaches that true spiritual guidance is found only in the authentic teachings of the Quran and the Sunnah. And with this profound exploration of divine wisdom, our journey through this section of the Quran concludes for today. May this spiritual guidance illuminate our hearts and minds, filling them with the light of faith and understanding. And may Allah grant us the wisdom to live by the truths revealed in His sacred book, applying its teachings to every aspect of our lives. May He accept our sincere efforts and forgive our shortcomings, showering His blessings upon us, our families, and our communities. May He guide us on the straight path and grant us a noble end, and may His peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all. May our hearts remain steadfast in His remembrance, and may our lives be a testament to His love and mercy. May we always strive to be among those who are active in His way, sacrificing our comfort for His pleasure. May our knowledge be a source of benefit for ourselves and for all of humanity. May Allah elevate our spiritual ranks and grant us a place in the highest of heavens. And may we be counted among His blessed servants forever in His grace.